Hello there, Margarita Alcantara here. Welcome to the Rise Up with Margarita show, which is my weekly show every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And welcome to a very special day. I have a very special announcement to share with you at the end of the broadcast. And so today's topic, because I talk into a new topic every time, and every week it's something new to really help light workers who are here to be the new leaders of light really rise up and shine. And so today the topic is the 5-step method to being unleashed in your power in 2022. So, as you may notice, I have a very different background than what I normally have when I'm doing my lives, and that's because I am actually at my parents' house. So, at least I have some like white contrast behind me now, so you can actually see what's going on a little bit better. But today is the 5-step method to being unleashed in your power in 2022. So here's why this is really important. I'm going to share, what you may be hearing from your higher self right now as 2021 draws to a close. And that's really, really important to really connect with because we basically have one more month in 2021. And this is really an awesome time to really get clear on who you are, what is it that you want to accomplish, and really step into that vision. And so I'm going to share with you what you may be hearing from your higher self right now as 2021 draws to a close. Also, why being unleashed in your power is your next step to up leveling your life. And that's really, really important to do and to acknowledge in yourself, right? And then I'll share my 5-step method to being unleashed in your power. And some of it may come very intuitively. But one thing that I do notice, and this is why I really wanted to share this with you today, is because um, it can be very confusing, especially if you're just awakening on your path. And even if you're seasoned on your path like I am, there's always more to learn. There's always more to expand into, to open into, and to be in your power around. And so this is really, really important to get some clarity on where you're at, what you want to open into and expand into. And I'm going to be sharing with you that way it gets created, right? Because there can be so many different steps, but it's just really basically just, 5 or even less, if you want to group some of it together. And it's really important just to have some guidance around that because, a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on in the world, and you get to have clarity around what you're creating. So here is what you may be hearing from your higher self right now as 2021 draws to a close. And so one of the things is you may be feeling the call to step higher on your light worker path. So if you're getting like intuitive nudges from your higher self saying, hey, maybe we should try something different, or maybe we should expand on this modality, or maybe it's time to serve higher to clients, or maybe it's time for a new offering that's more aligned, or, something like that. There's usually something that your higher self is like, okay, let's grow, let's serve higher, and that's really what light workers are really being called to do. We're really being called to lead. And so it's really what's the next step of leadership for light workers right now, and so your higher self knows what that is and is already giving you hints if you haven't picked up on some of that already, right? So you may be feeling that call to step higher on your light worker path. Another thing you may be hearing from your higher self is you may be feeling the call to do more, to be more. And so what I mean by that is that, you may be even satisfied with what's going on in your life, which is awesome, right? But one thing's true, and you may have heard me say this before, is that if you're comfortable, you're not growing. And it's not that you purposely make yourself uncomfortable, right? And actually, sometimes I do that because I do enjoy growing. I do enjoy birthing new things. And so that's something that I actually do practice often. And you'll actually see that in leaders that you admire in general, that they're always looking forward to expanding and growing. And, so not a surprise that your higher self is also saying, hey, Let's grow, let's go bigger, let's be bigger, and your higher self really knows that you're actually here for more. Whatever you're doing right now, you're probably playing it safe, and you get to be in your bigness. It's safe to be big. It's safe to be in your power. It's safe for you to expand. It's safe for you to be in your light and to shine brightly. Um, Yeah, I'm seeing a comment here from Beatrice saying, well, definitely not comfortable and definitely urged to evolve. Stagnation is so constricting. And that's really well put because I do feel similarly that, just kind of hanging out there and being settled and being comfortable, it might be fine. And maybe that might be necessary even for a moment, but to stay there, it's death. It really is. It's like you just don't grow and you don't expand. And if you're a light worker who is here with a big purpose, who is here to change the world, to raise the vibration of the consciousness on the planet, then you should not be comfortable because we're in the middle of a planetary awakening and we're being called forward to do big things, right? And just to give you like an example of that, right? Because I had a choice whether or not I wanted to actually do this live because I don't have all the necessary, well, I have some things, I've got my ring light, my tripod, I got my laptop and it's propped on some Bibles and my dad's physician's desk reference. And so you make it happen, right? But I also had a choice of, you know, let's just not do it, right? And let's do it when I'm more comfortable, when I've got my regular ring light at home that really illuminates things. Um, and when things are more convenient, right? Because I mean, part of the reason why I was even, just to give you a little behind the scenes, why I was a little delayed today is because I was actually looking for the best location so that you could even just see my face. Because even with a ring light, it can be challenging, like to not have like the full, like all the stuff you're used to, right? But I chose to make a decision at that moment. And I said, you know what? It's important. It's important. I'm here to serve and it's time to serve, right? So that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm so glad that you're here joining me. And I'm really grateful for you. So that's just to kind of give you a picture of, you know, you get to continue growing, you get to do you, and you get to make a difference and you get to have joy in your life, and be abundant, very, very important. So I just want to see if I missed any comments since I was jabbering away. Okay. So, um, yeah, so I'm seeing another comment here. Feeling so stagnant for months straight. This evolving and growing is indeed very long lasting. Yeah, it's a life experience, and if you allow yourself to stay stagnant, um, you'll feel safe, but you won't actually be safe because, you can't control that, right? So it's either you accept your bigness and embrace what you're here to do, and then you actually make the difference, or you can be in stagnation and have a perception that you're safe, and you just definitely will not grow, and then things will stagnate, with everything, not just your energy and your feelings, but also with your growth, with your money, with your relationships. I mean, it affects everything. So that's why I'm always an advocate for expansion and growing, very, very important. And then the third reason why you may be hearing from your higher self right now as 2021 draws to a close is you just may simply be feeling the call to expand your light and power. If things just feel so contained, as Beatrice mentioned, then there's only so much constraint you can take, until you're just like, ah, and you just like explode. And so my recommendation is to just take the action rather than waiting for yourself to self-combust. Because I've been there, wouldn't recommend. um, okay, and I'm seeing a comment here. I will say that I only recently realized that I keep stagnant because I'm trying to figure it out on my own. Stagnation doesn't mean direction, right? Yeah, well, stagnation means a bunch of things, but stagnation really is an indication of fear and choosing fear. And not coming from a place of judgment here, just sharing what it is, because I've been there, and we visit once in a while. And but the important thing is that you choose your growth, right? Because when you're in stagnation, and that's one of the reasons, right? You're trying to figure it out on your own. And that's actually, just to be real quick about it, that's something that a lot of light workers actually do, is that they wait because they're like, eventually I'm going to get some clarity, I'm going to get some massive download, and everything will be massively clear in just a moment, right? But the reality is that you don't get clarity by sitting. You don't get clarity by being comfortable. You don't get clarity by waiting for it and being passive. You get clarity by taking action and then seeing what works and what doesn't work. That's how you get clarity. And a shortcut to the clarity is to hire someone so that you don't figure it out on your own, so that you're not lone wolfing things. Um, because you may figure it all out all by yourself, and I know that so many of us, myself included, really value that independence, and really value that independence, and also we'd like to see, like, wow, I made it happen, right? But you can make it happen and still get support because you made the support happen, right? Like you got that person to help you out, and you got the support, and so you actually did make that happen too, right? So, if you want to be in the constraint and not doing anything and feeling safe, then that is a choice. But understand that the consequences of that is that then you don't grow. And then also, as a light worker, you're not fulfilling your purpose on this planet. And that's kind of like soul death, really, to be honest, for a light worker who's here to do big, big things, right? So just want to put that out there, that, if you're feeling the call to expand your light and power, it's really for a good reason. And my recommendation is to listen to your higher self, because your higher self really knows everything. Your higher self is connected to your purpose. If you say you're not clear with your purpose, and so all of this is really just about getting clarity within yourself and having, a mechanism to address all of this, right? So here's why being unleashed in your power is your next step to upleveling your life. So, it's so important to notice this, right? Because all light workers, all, not like people over here and people over here, it's like all light workers are being called to lead their movement in a bigger way. And when I say lead your movement, I'm talking about you take a stand for something, right? Whatever your purpose is, that's your stand. And if you are truly channeling your purpose from your higher self, it is your purpose that is given to you by God, right? Like, I mean, you as a divine being yourself, you get to be connected to your divinity so you can, the word that I want to say is emancipate others. And that's really something that you get to do. And not from a savior complex kind of way, right? Because there are some light workers too who've got that going on and get to clear that, because that's more based in ego. But it's more of being in service to help others get free, basically. And this moment that we're having on planet Earth right now, it is all about liberation and freedom and emancipating the human condition, emancipating humanity, right? And you are a part of that. But it's really hard to be a part of that if you're not clear in yourself and there's all kinds of action going on in you, right? So that's where I come in, and I'm going to share, a 5-step process that you can follow so that you can be like, oh, okay, got that. All right, got this done. All right, so now I'm clear, right? And so that's really important. So you might be feeling that calling to lead your movement in a bigger way. So that's one big thing. Also, your mission is being put to the test right now, and it's time to get the support you need, whatever that means for you, right? Like, I mean, obviously, as you've probably heard me talk about, I do have, some offers. One of them is my high-end mentorship program for conscious women who are really here to lead their movement in the world. And I am here to provide that support. And if you resonate with me, you can drop me a DM and we can talk about that a little more. But, the point is that it's time for you to get your support, right? Whether it be me, someone else that you resonate with, but it's time for you to get your support and make it happen. And you are being put to the test right now because things aren't easy, right? Like, for some of us, access is not easy. whether it be to food, whether it be to the way we're living, the way we're having a home, like, I mean, there are a lot of basics, like root chakra stuff that is being um, addressed right now. And so if you're a light worker and you're getting taken out of your power because of all these distractions, I'll call it, because I'm just going to call it for what it is. There's a lot of distraction going on in the world right now, and it's up to you to really um, get back on the horse, right? To get back and be in your purpose and to really listen to yourself, really listen to your heart, really listen to your higher self. So, it's being tested right now. So, it's time to really just evaluate, like, where are you pulling yourself out of alignment? Where are you not being present for yourself and what you're here to create in the world? Another reason why being in your unleashing your power is your next step to being up leveled in your life is because your mission gets to make impact in the world at a time when it is calling out for healing. So, when I show up in service, when I'm doing these lives, when I'm even making an offer, when I'm even doing posts on social media, it's never about me. It's not like, hey, look at me, right? Because the reality is, as you well enough know, is that not everyone is going to love you, and that's okay, right? And we also get to call out what's not of light or what people may be believing lies about, right? And so when you're a light worker, you get to take a stand for the light. You get to take a stand for God, and you get to take a stand for what it is you're here to create, you know? Very, very important. Christian is saying, this is good to hear. Perfect timing. Life has been rough for so many people. Yeah, this is the time. This is the time that we purposely incarnated on this planet in order to be of service. I mean, how badass is that? We like purposely came here on a soul level saying, okay, we're going to be alive and, in a place of being able to take action during the planetary awakening, and because we knew what we wanted to come here for. Yeah, and someone else is mentioning agreeing with the distractions. Yeah, they're on full force, right? That's why um, you're seeing a lot of the scarcity programming is what it is. Everything that's saying, oh, do this or you won't get access to your food. Do this or you won't have access to love, to joy, to your health, right? Like all of that, like all of our root chakra stuff around existence is being tested right now. And it's one of those things of that's why it's so important to get clear on your mind, to get clear in your purpose, to even get clear in your body and communicate with your body because your body is so intelligent. And, that's why I became a licensed acupuncturist because I'm fascinated with the human form. And that's probably the starseed in me too, like really being fascinated with how we are physically, And so, as you know, the world, our planet, is really calling out for healing. And it's so funny because we live in the suburbs. My parents live in the suburbs. So the what's it called? The garbage truck just came by. But that's the thing, right? Is that distractions are everywhere. That's just part of life, period, and especially now. And it's about how can you come back to yourself, get aligned back within yourself and tap in and be present again, right? And I just kind of demonstrated that here because there's like a rumbling garbage truck beside our window right now. So, but here I am, showing up in service on Instagram and Facebook to really help you take that 5-step process to being unleashed in your power because you deserve to experience yourself in full form. Big, joyful, impacting the world, making a difference. You are meant for that. Yeah. Blooming Fire says, thank you for this message. This is much needed. Call to get to work on the path. Yeah. And most of you are just really just need a tweak. It's not like, you need some major recuperation. And if you do, that's also fine. I mean, wherever we're at, wherever you're at is totally fine, And now you get to get clear. Now you get to connect with yourself and what it is you want, right? So I'm just going to go into what is this 5-step process. So there's a five-step method to being unleashed in your power. And like I said, it's not like you need to be strict and stringent about, after this, then you do this, right? But I'm just sharing with you what works. Knowing that this is what not only I've experienced, but I've witnessed in my patients, I've witnessed in my clients in terms of their growth and what works for them and how certain things speed up the process so that you're not kind of like hanging out in the weirdness for too long, right? So step number one, create an intention around what you want and tap into your highest vision. So this is so, so important because most light workers, and especially, I was like that too when I first started, I was just like, okay, let's do this now. Let's get it done, right? And that was me. I'm like, all right, I'm awake, let's get it done. But then I didn't realize that there were certain things that you get to do. And one of the very, very important things to do that is not so sexy is that you must create an intention around what it is that you want and tap into that higher vision, right? So this requires you to start getting really kind of connected within and really just seeing, okay, what's required for me to really be in the fullness of my power, right? So an example of this for step one, creating intention around what you want and tapping into your highest vision is you could journal. Like I love to journal. I love to write. I wrote a book, as you probably well know. I wrote that chakra healing book, which is now a number one Amazon bestseller. So, it does come naturally to me to like to write. So I do enjoy that. And I do find that a lot of light workers do too. So you could journal, just like either some morning notes or something before you turn in at the night. But one thing that you can do is you can just like set aside maybe even 10 minutes out of your day and like really literally schedule it in because otherwise it'll be, oh, when I have time, right? So you will have time when you make it happen, when you prioritize having that time. So just for 10 minutes, set aside that amount of time in your day. Take out your journal. If you want, you can put on some music that you feel is very conducive to you. Maybe you'll be like me and light a candle because, the candle energy is very helpful. It also it's very attractive to the angels, right? And you just really want to start downloading and just like doing kind of like a free form writing. I used to do like writing workshops and stuff back in the day before I even became a healer because I had written a zine, which is an independently published magazine. And so, I was doing all kinds of like media related workshops and things like that. So journaling is so, so powerful for that. It's so powerful for processing things. It's powerful for documenting where you're at and then where you want to go. And so that is one way you want to do it is take out your journal. Or, what I often do too is like I'll just type it in as a note in my laptop or my desktop, or even in my notes on my iPhone, right? And just like get clear on, okay, what do I want, right? And it's one of those things where you can literally put your hand over your heart and just really connect with your heart because that's where everything comes from. That's where your power comes from. Like we do have a solar plexus chakra that is our power center, but our heart is like once that's activated, it's like everything else lines up. It just does because it is like the center of everything. Um, Christian is saying her book is amazing, but at Amazon retail. Yeah, thank you, Christian. I hope you're enjoying that. Beatrice is saying, I love writing. It feels like there's a whole waterfall of energy pouring out. I mean, that's a perfect way to put it because that's really what you want to do is you want to just really open into just like, you know, not vomiting. That kind of looked like vomiting, but it's more just like outpouring of, what's on your mind, because sometimes you just need to clear stuff out of your energy too, right? So one really great way of setting your intention, pull out your journal, get clear on what it is that you want, and then also, maybe on another page, tap into, well, here's what I want, right? Like, here's what is not working, maybe. Here's what's not working. things I get to release and let go of. And then maybe another column could be, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want to create in 2022. And then like look at that and see, what the gap is for you and how you get to fill that gap, right? So that's step one, creating an intention around what you want and tap into your highest vision. Number two, clear and heal. And as healers, many light workers are healers, but not all light workers are just healers, right? You'll also get light workers in corporate, in media, like I mean, they're all over the place, honestly. But the more traditional understanding of light workers is that we're healers, and I do fit that bill. So, and most light workers are, they know some kind of modality, or they're connected to crystals, or they do tarot or essential oils, or they actually provide like healing energy work or something. So the thing is, though, we're really great at providing that energy healing. But when it comes to taking care of ourselves, if you're not really in your empowerment as a light worker, then you're not going to really work on yourself that much. And when you're an empowered light worker, you realize that the growth never stops. And there will be levels of healing that you get to embody and explore and embrace. So clearing and healing is step number two to being unleashed in your power, because now that you're clear about your intention and where you want to go and what your vision really is in this world, then okay, let's clear out the gunk, clear it all out, all the outdated beliefs. Yes, Enrique is saying to purify. Yeah, absolutely. This is really about purifying your spirit, purifying your vessel, purifying your light. So in order to do that, you must do that clearing work on yourself. Whether it is you already know some techniques, do that, right? If you need some assistance, get that help, right? And that could look like getting some healing, or getting some, because I'm a power activator, I also perform power activations. That's really powerful. That taps into that new earth frequency, actually, and it's very accelerated and fast. So you'll get quick results with that. But whatever you resonate with, right? Like do that. And the bottom line is just, do the clearing and the healing. And, the clearing and the healing will probably be uncomfortable, because you may have to bump up against some resistance at first around, oh, that's awkward. That doesn't make me feel good. And then, you might not want to even do any of that, right? But if you are committed to really expanding, then you owe it to yourself to clear out all that gunk that's keeping you down. You really do. You owe that to yourself. Beatrice says, definitely, I finally overcame my fear of receiving healing and booked a session. Woohoo! Awesome. Also, she says, true, I love working with a mix of modalities because I feel stuck when I'm only working with one. And Beatrice also says, your starseed power activation was intense. Yeah, it's like, I go deep and it goes very quickly. I go deep real fast. So, and it's just really powerful. And the acceleration thereafter is really amazing. That said, so that was step two, clear and heal. What no longer serves you, clear out that gunk. All the old paradigm programming, all the I'm not worthy to do this, I'm not worthy to receive love, I'm not capable of stepping into my power, I don't have resources, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have whatever. We live in an abundant universe. So we have at all times. And so, when you still are in that energy of I can't or I don't have, then that gets to be cleared out, right? You get to go deeper. Number three, align. Step number three is that you get to align. Align your energies with your highest frequency and what you want. So you did step one, creating the intention around what you want and tapping into your highest vision. Awesome. So you're clear on that. Then you did step two, clearing and healing. So now you're kind of like, ready to reprogram yourself with the real stuff, with your truth, with your light, right? With what you really are here to experience and accomplish in the world. And so that's where the alignment comes in. Step three is like, are your dreams over here and your body's over here? It's time to get it aligned and be in that oneness, right? This is the kind of stuff that I go deeper with my clients. So step through number three, align. Number four, activate and amplify. So however you activate and amplify, I obviously, since I'm an activator, I literally do activations or I'm activating, even just by talking, right? But whatever way you want to do it, however you want to slice it, activate your light and amplify your light. So it's really about raising your frequency, because that's really the next step. Once you've cleared out all the gunk, I mean, it's not like you can't raise your frequency at the same time, but I'm saying that it just really gets amped big time when you do it this way, is that you raise your frequency, cultivate your power, and amplify your light. So that's really, really important. And so this is really about raising your vibration and really holding that frequency and cultivating that frequency in your life. So that's step four, and being activated and amplifying that light in really amazing ways. Now, step five of the method to being unleashed in your power is now you get to embody. So you created your intention, step one. Number two, you cleared and healed, cleared out stuff that no longer serves you. Then you align yourself, and then you activate and amplify your light and your frequency and raise your vibration. And then you get into embodiment, which is really what a lot of light workers really get to enter into right now. So what I mean by this is, right now, a lot of light workers, especially those who are kind of more invisible light workers, they kind of know they're powerful. They know they're powerful. They have an understanding on some level logically that they are powerful, but then that's where that ends, right? But when you're embodied in your power, it's like your whole body is on board with a knowing. It's like a knowing that, yes, I am powerful. It's just as like there's a sun in the middle of our solar system, I'm also in power, like in power of myself. I'm in sovereignty with my body. I'm in sovereignty with what I'm creating in the world, with my offers that I'm helping my clients with my relationships, with my money. It's like it becomes an embodiment where it just is, just like the sun just is, you just are. And that's really what embodiment is about. And that happens as you continuously get in that higher frequency and leveled activation. And so not sharing that, in terms of a judgment way, right? Like, because I've heard that being shared sometimes of, oh, they're so low vibe, right? I even made a reel of it because I was poking fun at it, because I heard that so much of like, oh, you're so low vibe, right? But, it's also kind of low vibe to say you're low, to a person, hey, you're low vibe, right? So it's just that there's a lot of judgment there and a lot of ego involved there, but and this is not about judgment. It's just simply whatever you're resonating at right now as a frequency is what you are creating in terms of a platform, because we have, we're basically in hologram, and we're on a creation platform. And when you know how to work with that creation platform, you are actually amplifying what it is you really do want, and so when you are at kind of a lower vibration and you have a lot of fear, then you're going to create more fear in your life, right? Whereas if you've been cultivating and taking ownership of your light, and you're really embodying your self-love and everything you're creating and your purpose, and you're moving forward and making impact and leading your movement, then it's going to be a different feeling. You're going to be resonating at a higher vibration because you're going to be in that resonance of growth and of creation energy. And when you are in that vibration, you will actually bring in more support, more people who are aligned, whether that be platonic, romantic, and also opportunities. You're just going to bring in more of that, right? So that's really just what it is. There's no judgment there. It's just literally a vibrational match, and it's either there or it's not. And so if you want a higher vibrational match, you too have to be that, right? So that's very, very interesting. So I'm seeing the comment here, vibrational snobbery. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. No, but honestly, I was caught in that for too long and kept repressing what should have been addressed until it festered and I had to look at the root. Yeah. And so sometimes that's what happens, right? Sometimes we just kind of keep going and then we don't realize something's not in alignment until, something's like spinning off somewhere, and then we realize, oh, okay, that's not working. What's going on here? What's the root? So, and the good news is that when you're curious like that, then you find out what the problem is, and then, you can address it, because you can't address something if you're kind of pretending like nothing's going on, right? So that was the five-step method to being unleashed in your power. So just to recap, if you're just joining us, because today's topic is about my five-step method to being unleashed in your power. And like I said, it doesn't need to strictly be like this, right? But what I've learned is that it does provide the fastest results. And it's more streamlined, it's more easy, and who doesn't like that? Who doesn't enjoy flow? So, step one was create an intention around what you want and tap into your highest vision. Number two, clear and heal, which means clear out what no longer serves you. Step three, align. Align your energies with your highest frequency and what you want. Step four, activate and amplify. Raise your frequency, cultivate your power, amplify your light. And step five, embody. Get embodied in your power. And so I hope that's helpful. And, it's a whole other live to actually be showing you all the detailed steps around each step. But this gives you a little bit of a map to, start somewhere. So you also it's also really helpful to know where you stand on things, right? Like, so maybe you're at step one, or maybe you're in the middle, or maybe you're closer to the end, and wherever you're at, good for you, because you can improve and you can grow once you know where you're at. So. So I'm glad that's helpful. And so, if you want some assistance on this, and also this is related to my special announcement, because today the doors are open for a very special offering to do some group work with me live, and it is called Become Unleashed in 2022, a live event to unlock your superpowers, awaken your multidimensional self, and step into the version of yourself that you are meant to be. And so actually within this live event, it's going to start on December 6th, and there will also be live work that we'll be doing together on the 7th, the following day on Tuesday. And I'm actually going to be covering these five steps towards being unleashed in your power. So, because I even have a workbook for you. I created one. It was so popular during the Lionsgate, I decided to also include it in this offer as well. So there's a nice juicy workbook waiting for you, all laid out with all the writing prompts and everything and all the blank areas, so you can just fill it out and do a brain dump to really just brainstorm and really just let that waterfall come out, right? So we'll be going through step one, creating an intention and around what you want and tapping into your highest vision. Around number two, clearing and healing. That's actually going to be a big emphasis on day one, where I'm going to actually be helping you move through some of these writing prompts, and also really answering some of your questions around releasing and clearing energy specifically for you, right? Because it's going to be a wonderful group of amazing people who are like-minded on the spiritual path, who are ready to not only ascend themselves, but also to really lead their movement. And so we will be going into clearing and healing, and I'm actually going to be providing a clearing activation, which is going to be really it's going to be really like I was about to say successful, but it's really a really powerful activation. So we're going to be doing that too. And then we'll be getting into the alignment, really getting into, okay, so is this aligned? What is aligned? What's not aligned? And really helping you get clear with that. And then, of course, the activating and amplifying, raising your vibration. I'm definitely bringing it on for that. And then the embodiment. So like by day two, that's when we're really going to be focusing on unlocking your superpowers. And there will be even writing prompts around that, around your superpowers, really getting deep into that, and really just connecting with, okay, what are my superpowers? And what is it that I do want to unleash, because that clarity will really amplify the action of being unleashed in your power. So I'm really going to be with you during day one, which is all about intentioning and envisioning. So that will be on Monday, December 6th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's a 90-minute workshop and activation to clear the way to your power and release your fears and old stories that are holding you back. Then day two is stepping into your multidimensional superpowers. So very exciting. And so that's Tuesday, December 7th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a two-hour workshop and activation to activate your superpowers and step into your gifts and your most expanded version of yourself. And then you'll also get a workbook, like I mentioned, and it's the Become Unleashed in 2022 workbook to help you intentionally create your experience and through setting intentions and goals for your highest outcome in 2022. So this is really, really an amazing event. And I'm going to be there with you live. Of course, if you can't join us live, there will be a recording and you will have lifetime access to the recordings. So you can play the activations whenever you feel like it, as often as you like, because there's no way to really overdo that kind of stuff. Because usually what I've learned is that when people replay activations they've listened to before, they get information that they didn't get around the first time around, So that's really, really important. So this whole entire package, the value of it is actually like $1,200, to be honest. And even like my private programs and stuff, they're more than that as well. But just for this offer, and it's going to be end of 2021, and I really want to have this experience with you guys. So it's just going to be $197. So that's all. So that's all it is. So here's what you'll be experiencing with this package. This is only some of what you'll be getting. So you will open into your vision and intention of what you want to expand into in 2022. You will clear the way to your power and release your fears and old stories that are holding you back. I'm gonna grab some water here. And you will activate your superpowers and step into your gifts. And you'll get channeling prompts to help you create the breakthrough that you want to have in the new year. Because this is really what it is. It's not just journaling. You're going to be channeling from your higher self. And I'm going to be holding that energy container for you so that you can just like really go all out, right? Because I hold a very strong, powerful container. And so, it really provides that safety to explore and to expand. And also, you will unleash the most expanded version of yourself. So, I mean, that sounds juicy, and I would love to have you there. And so, if that's something that really is something you'd like to do, then I invite you to click the link in my bio if you're on Instagram, or here on Facebook. I'm just doing a copy and paste right now. And so you can click on that link that I left in the comments on Facebook. And so, I really hope that you're going to make it. It's going to be really amazing, really powerful. If you've ever really wanted to do any live work with me, any group work with me, maybe even try out what activations are like. It's going to be a really amazing way to kind of enter into that space. So I hope that you'll join me. Make sure that you click on the link and get your ticket and reserve your spot now, because the doors will be closing in 7 days. So after that, I won't be reopening it, and we're actually going to be starting by the time that we close the doors. We'll be starting with day one. So that's going to be really, really amazing. Does anyone here have any questions about what I just shared today? So if you are just joining right now, today's live was called the 5-Step Method to Being Unleashed in Your Power in 2022. And I covered what you may be hearing from your higher self right now as 2021 comes to a close, why being unleashed in your power is your next step to up-leveling your life, and my 5-step method to being unleashed in your power so that you can really step into your power with more ease, grace, and speed. So again, I hope you join us for the live Become Unleashed in 2022 live event that begins next week on Monday, the 6th at 12 p.m. Eastern. And the link is in my bio on Instagram, and here on Facebook, it's right there in the comments. So, looks like there's no questions. Okay. All right. Well, I hope that this live served you because, I mean, even if you don't join us on Monday, this gives you some idea, like a spectrum of where it is you're at, and it's always really important to have an understanding of where you're at in order to know where you want to go, because if there's a lot of confusion of where you're even at, then it's really hard to grow because you don't know what it is that you want, right? So, I see a comment here. I'm new to this. How do you know if you're an actual light worker? Well, it's one of those things where, like I won't go too deep into this question too much because I've done posts about it and lives on it already. And also, it could be another whole live itself. But one way you could know is if you, because light workers have a high light quotient, right? So they carry already like a high quotient of light. Um, and most light workers, not all, like it's not like you have to be some kind of healer in order to be a light worker, but traditionally it has been people who do healing modalities and do healing work. But like I said, they're all in all walks of life. You could be in corporate and be a light worker, and you could be in media, you could be doing other things that aren't in a typical traditional role of healer and be a light worker. And it's really about stepping up and to being that change and to allowing yourself to be an agent of change for humanity's upleveling. And if there's a desire in your heart to, really help the planet and, be better, do better, and be in service, then that's really, really important. So hopefully, okay. I hope that helped. I know that the Instagram is kind of pausing because the connection is really wonky here with the Wi-Fi. So I hope you're still seeing this, but I hope that answered your question. Um, all right. Someone's saying, thank you, Margarita. Talk about direction. Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like that might be the only question that we've got around this, which is fine. So, yeah. Beatrice is sharing. That's how I started to animation and then suddenly Reiki and onwards. It only made sense. Yeah, and a lot of that is going on right now. So, what I say to you, to the person who asked about how do you know if you're a light worker, if you're asking whether or not you're a light worker, you might want to dig deeper. Because you might be, you probably are. If you're even thinking about it, if you're attracted to my work, you probably are. Because that's all I talk about all day. And if you resonate with it, then you're probably a light worker. If it resonates with your heart to talk about being in service to raising the consciousness of the planet, if it excites you in your body to like be in this bigger purpose to help elevate the consciousness of humanity or to be a healing agent of light in some form or another in your community, then you're probably a light worker. So, and a lot of people who are in different modalities, or like, let's just say not modalities, but in different careers, a lot of them have been DMing me. Um, a lot of them have been DMing me, and some of them, like I even just saw, I think it was a comment yesterday on one of my posts from someone who's a photographer, and he's waking up and realizing like, oh my God, all the stuff that I've been believing about such and such in my life, it's all a lie, right? And that's because a lot of light workers right now are waking up. So whatever they've been doing in their life, they're waking up and they're either going to stay in that role of wherever they're at right now and be a light worker from that place. Or what usually tends to happen is that they'll be like, oh my God, the crystals, I need to learn crystals. And then all of a sudden they're like a crystal healer, or they start going into Reiki and then all of a sudden they're doing Reiki, and it's just what I would say about this, follow your heart. And that's why it's so, so important to be connected to your heart and to allow yourself to really be still within. Because if you're all like, bleh, and like it's all distraction all day, then it's going to be very hard to connect with your heart and to trust your inner navigation, your inner compass, because we all have one. But if you're in fear, then just to give you an example, then you're not listening to your heart, right? Because your heart is not, never resonates with fear. Your heart will tell you what it is. She'll tell you the truth, and she'll tell you what's required, and she'll tell you how she's feeling. She'll tell you how your body's feeling, but all you need to do is just ask and have that intention to connect with your body, with yourself, with your heart, with your higher self. And all of this stuff gets amplified, assisted with things such as my offer that I just mentioned, the Become Unleashed in 2022, this live 2-day event that I'm doing on next Monday the 6th and Tuesday the 7th. So if you'd like a little bit of hand holding around that, like I invite you to join me live. And so she's saying, I did resonate with all of your videos that I've watched so far. Yeah, you're probably feeling the calling. You're probably heeding the calling. It's probably your higher self like tapping you on your shoulder and being like, "Hey, it's time for us to go big." It's time for us to be that amazing healer that we are. And so that's my recommendation to you is listen to your heart. If you don't know what it feels like to listen to your heart, that's where to begin. And whether you are connected with your heart, whether you're not connected with your heart, like you've heard me say before in my posts that I work with light workers who are connected with their heart and their powerful purpose. But when it comes to the group work, it's just come as you are. So you don't need to be like advanced, you don't need to be knowing a great deal of something. You just need to like know in your heart that this is what you need, right? And that this is the support that you want. And that's how you just kind of step into that, right? And that's how you get to also make all your decisions, right? Is like, is it aligned with my heart and my purpose in my life, right? And that's the criteria, really. Is it aligned? That's that's how you make your decisions. That's how I make my decisions. Like no matter how heavy or light or frivolous or intense I'm given in terms of a decision, it always comes down to, is this aligned with what I'm creating, with what I'm building on this planet? And if it's a yes on some level, then I do it. No questions asked. And that's really how you get quicker with the energy, is that you just touch base with your intuition, you develop it, and then you take action, which then increases your connection with your intuitive abilities and your intuitive powers. And that's how you really amplify that, because every single time you listen to your intuition and you take action based on that intuition, you make it stronger. Same thing goes too with ignoring it, right? So if you're saying, "Oh yes, I'm fine," I don't need this or that, and it doesn't make any logical sense to do X, Y, Z, then you're being in your head and you're not listening to your heart and you're not listening to your intuition. And when you don't use your intuition, it will atrophy, just like a muscle. So my advice to you, listen to your heart, trust it, and take action on it. And if your heart says to join me next week on for day 1 and day 2 of the Become Unleashed in 2022, then I'd love to have you there. So I hope this served you, and I will see you later on social media because I'll be making some posts today. So have a wonderful rest of the week, everyone. Be in the vibration that it is you wish to be in. And, really step into your power. It's your time. Much love, light, and power. Have a wonderful rest of the week.